War Striders, the automatons' AI-driven mech suits that have overwhelming firepower, as well as some hefty armor that can tank otherwise deadly hits. These are enemies that folks need to know how to deal with, and I'll help you by telling you the true weak spot. I also tested every weapon that can deal damage to it, within reason, and I'll be showing that too. But first, where do you find them? Why? What do they do? And what do players think the current weak spot is? The where and why is a little complex. They're essentially a random seed that can spawn that replace a lot of hulks. How much? Depends. I've seen them as low as level 6 difficulty, and this right here is level 7. Their two front-facing cannons shoot bunker blasts that can ragdoll you, and they're fired 4 times each. If you're far enough away or behind cover, it'll start launching a barrage of grenades at you. If you are directly on top of one, you will get blown up instantaneously. If you're too close in front of them, they'll start stomping. It's a one tap if they hit you. If they hit near you, it's a ragdoll. There's no shortage of ways they have to kill Helldivers, which hopefully paints a picture of just how imperative it is to handle these enemies as swiftly as possible. Let me tell you right now, it's not hitting that spot at the top. That's a red light. Stop, rethink your actions, and don't go for the eye on the robotic Johnny Bravo build. All the dude trains is chest. The Jondals are less tanky and legs even more so, but they're still not the fastest way to kill this enemy. We had our in-house artist sketch a diagram from the front and from the back. The true weak spot is in the hips, because they don't lie. I spent hours testing every single weapon against the War Strider. I'll show what I found in a moment, but first you can break the grenade launcher and turrets. There will be timestamps down below since I have a lot to cover, and some of the stuff is a little wacky, such as warping into the feet, which can be very dangerous. If you mess it up, you're going to go splooch, kersplat. A case can be made for stun grenades being really good against War Striders since they tend to spawn camp you. If that happens, you bring stun grenades, you have no weapons to your name, simply drop a Hellpod on the back of their turret. If it hits their leg joint, they're done. There's 2 weapons that get insane value from the true weak spot. One of them is the Commander. These are leg shots, just to give you an example of the time to kill. But here is the joint, or true weak spot. It's a one tap, miswar. And the shots go straight with laser guide, so it should be pretty straightforward to hit if you're standing still a little bit. There's only one item you want to aim for the chest with, Thermites. Not because you have to, but just because you can. It's also easier to hit. For some reason, it's always a one tap. The only place you probably can't land it is going to be the turrets and nade launcher. If you like the Eagle Strike, you'll be you'll be happy to hear that it does decimate the War Strider. And I do not believe that the ship module I have is playing a role here, since it's hitting it in the middle. And those guys are pretty stationary, so landing that is not tough. Flamethrower is still in the lab. I don't quite know where to aim to get the fastest kill using this. I would assume it's from the outside and just try and hit the joint, because if you're in the inside, it's tough to actually apply that damage. And if I compare this to my crisper kill, it's pretty night and day. Then again, I wasn't getting ragdolled into oblivion. Laser Cannon is kind of neat, although it does take a while. Here's me with the Sentry to speed up the process. The Sentry does not target the legs that well, unless you position it correctly. If you go for the joint, I do believe it's a faster kill than with the Sentry combined. It's close, actually. It's close. I triple-checked the Spirit. The first time I shot it, it went for the Jondals, but that was the gun and a one tap. And here it goes for the dome, and somehow also decimates it. Doing the same thing with the Recoilless Rifle, not a wise idea. Maybe the very top, but how are you supposed to hit that? I go for the eye that folks said was the weak spot initially, which is understandable. It looks like one. As previously explained, it's not the case because it's still alive. Now if I go for the waist, the Jondals or the leg with the Recoilless Rifle, it's a one tap, miswar. The difference between mitten mode and I don't want to lose my gun for 7 minutes mode is a whopping one shot, which I'm going to take every day. I'm going to be charging to 85% and 2-tapping these what? A few of you may find your faith in the outer Jondal wavering, but rest assured, this weak spot is worth it. Going for the leg with the AMR, for instance, will take you 10 shots if my math serves me right, and that's your point blank. There is drag to account for, and your hits will do less from further away. If you're up close, in like the same situation, it's 5 shots. The savings are insurmountable. I've been having a blast with the expendable autocannon. For some reason, it still has a 7-minute cooldown and comes with a backpack, but it does handle business against the strata. There can be an entire meeting for Automatons Anonymous putting 4 War Striders guarding a whole whopping 2 samples And that's where expendables come in handy, especially if you can just simply one-shot their legs or jondals, which are way easier to hit from a distance. This also applies to the Quasar Cannon. I gotta mention that since sometimes people don't know that the E-17 Quasar do the exact same damage. These things sure are lucky we don't have dual-wield centers yet, because once that comes out, this time to kill will be very impressive. The aim potentially may be all over the place. I'm not quite sure how the devs would ever balance that, but I'm a little fearful given the sway on our sidearms currently. Yes, I'm peeved about it. No, I can't let it go. Gamer chair emplacement is pretty free from this distance. Any further, you may have to go for the outer legs with the same time to kill as Commander. Autocannon Sentry does massive damage and staggers the War Strider, but height plays a major role in its time to kill. I believe it's trying to go for the jondals, but here it can't reach that. It's simply far too high compared to the War Strider. This also affects the Rocket Sentry. This whole time, it wants to get to the waist, and it can't. If on the same ground, this time to kill will be cut in more than half, which is crazy to think about. Unlike the Triple Dipper from Chili's, I have 3 unfortunate things to show you. The Urchin will stagger the War Strider, meaning you cannot get a weak spot shot whenever it's fully stunned after 2 pulses. The De-Escalator does not do any damage worth talking about to this little critter out here. You can break the turrets in 3 hits, but I don't know if that's really that impressive. And I feel as though this guy should be stunned, and he's not. This will likely change in the future, but I think it's worth mentioning for some reason, the Flame Sentry is invisible to War Striders. Don't know why, but they will ignore it. And it takes a while to kill them. These dudes were already damaged by the WASP, which also takes a while to kill them, but the Sentry handled business. If you don't have stun grenades, movement is your next best option for survival. Blink left or right if you're somewhat close, and it won't be able to track you. Same thing applies to the jetpack, although you can probably be a bit further away, as it does turn slow. You can quote me on this, but once they fix the Epoch spread, I believe it'll be able to one-tap the nether jondals on a War Strider. Until then, good luck hitting it. Breaking news, the Railgun strike has spread. Went for the War Strider, said, nope, this is a much more important matter, sir. You have no idea it can spawn 2 Billy Bobs of the Blickies. If all goes to plan, it should take you less than 2 canisters to handle a War Strider. The worst case scenario is it takes 2 canisters. That being said, there can be a lot of these guys, so just keep that in mind. If there was ever more of a reason not to bring a mech suit, it's these War Striders. But if you get the upper hand, you can roll them. Also, I was not going for the outer jondals or nether jondals at all. I didn't know it existed, and I'm not doing mechs again. Those things die so quick. Eruptor is a bad idea. I knew the Hellbomb would destroy it. I just didn't expect it to get got from that distance. That's on the very outer edge, and it lost everything. Ultimatum also one-shots, just as all the anti-tanks will if you land it in the correct spots. The Arc Grenade must choose between hitting its target or bouncing off into the sunset. Often, it's the latter. There's a monumental asterisk here, but if you can keep the Tesla Tower alive, it does so much damage. I'm pretty sure. It did get hit by the Flamethrower Sentry a little bit, but only for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and I broke it. We need more research on potentially combining damage with rocket pods. It takes 2 of these things, by the way. And then for the Strafing Run, it took 4 uses. Direct head-on damage. A quick break from the gameplay. Appreciate your War Strider. Thank you very much. Needed that. Quite refreshing. Yes, indeed. I gave it all she got, and I could not get it to explode Anit-Tank Mines. It's on one, I blow it up, it flinches briefly, probably took a lot of damage, but they're not worth it on this dude. And then Gatling Barrage. If there's multiple, potentially, but he's just soaking it in. Maybe I missed the beam a little bit. Nah, it's covering a massive area. I don't know if I'd recommend Double-Edged Sickle, because these dudes are sort of anti-camping. And Double-Edged Sickle is a camp weapon. Lay on the ground to mitigate fire damage taken. You do that, and you're going back to the lobby. You're going to have to believe me. This took about 30 seconds. I'm using Arc Thrower and Blitz Dog. I'd show you, but it just would just be a whole lot of this. It's cool you can stun lock them. I'll give them that for sure. If you want to break pieces, here's some random weapons I chose. HMG, it's 14 bullets roughly for the turret. It's not too shabby. And if you're using the AMR, definitely go for the joint. It is 4 for the turret, 3 for the grenade. Auto Cannon, 3 for the turret, 5 for the joint. Gotta weigh them options. Gotta weigh them options. Senators are the only options where going for the turrets makes some decent sense. It is roughly 6 shots, I believe 8. I missed one maybe there. It's either 8 or 9. I forgot that even happened, wow. After many hours of in-the-field testing by a Helldiver named Hunter, and not including the editing time, this is all the information on the War Strider I possess that I can bestow upon you to make your loadouts and builds to your liking. Hopefully, it helps immensely. I'm glad the War Strider has a meaningful weak spot. Could you imagine having 7 on your screen and you're supposed to be using a weapon that has twice the time to kill? That would have been brutal. Anti-tanks are a one-tap, sure, but for the majority of other ones, it would just limit the ability to have a more fun time. And weak spots on automatons are always good, so I shouldn't have been as concerned. But given the release of the Meatbobs and Leviathans, what do you expect me to do? I was trembling at the idea that maybe they just made this guy ridiculously tanky. Speaking of which, the dev said to ignore Leviathans, and now we have a major order to kill 4 million of them. I find that interesting. I think they should probably give him a good weak spot. It'd be awesome. I do believe the Ragdoll is excessive. I gotta mention that. Can't let it go. The fact that you got 8 bunker shots coming at you, and they can miss and knock you on your wagon for a prolonged period of time, kind of brutal. And a single one of them can one-shot you. A headshot's a one-shot, a chest shot is a one-shot because you're hemorrhaging while ragdolled, and you don't have time to react. So I gotta mention that. Those are not ideal aspects of this thing. The fire rate, potentially also a little wacky, but we'll see what happens. The grenade launcher is amazing, though. I think the grenades are fair. You can avoid them, you can toss them away. Sure, there's a lot of them if you're in a single area, but if you're moving a little bit, you can disperse them. There is counterplay there. So that was amazing. If it was just like an instant barrage that hits you, oof, we would have some problems because there'd be nothing you can do. So I'd say genuinely they made a really good choice in terms of the entirety of counterplay with this thing. And because it stands still to fire at players, you have a lot of ways to handle it. If you would like some custom merch, hit up Dobro, my brother. He embroiders stuff, hats, shirts, patches. He can make whatever you want. I also have my own merch. OutWestSeams.com. Link down below. He's not paying me. He wants to, but I don't want his money until he makes a lot of it. I want to get a Courage-esque character, or maybe my own logo character doing some stuff, Helldivers related, and get that going. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good day.